So this is a video on my everyday makeup routine. I typically don't wear fake lashes every day just because I don't have time. But of course when I do, I love to wear fake lashes. So even if you don't wear fake lashes, this video still has lots of information on how you can get this makeup look. I like to go in with this moisturizer. It's by Fresh. This is my favorite moisturizer and it is kind of pricey, but it is worth it. And it smells so good. It literally smells like Fruit Loops. So since I have combination skin, I just apply it in certain areas of my face that I feel need a little moisture and where I want a little glow, because I don't want to add too much because I do get really oily throughout the day. I like looking oily, but only sometimes. So I just take a beauty blender and blend that in. Then I go with foundation. So I have tons of foundation because I do makeup tutorials and I do makeup for other people. These are my two favorite foundations at the moment, the Hourglass Stick Foundation and the Born This Way Too Faced Foundation. This one is so good if you want a natural look. And this one is a natural beige. This one is warm ivory. Since this one's a little lighter, I just put it in the places that I want to highlight my face, kind of like concealer. But I still use concealer. I just use this because it has a little bit more coverage. This foundation is good for full coverage as well as a light coverage, and it looks really nice on the skin. So before I blend that out, I go in with my Tatcha Luminous Dewy Skin Mist. This one is the best. I'm only using this for this video. Usually I'll use my Mario Badescu or just a cheaper one because this one is really good and I like to save it. And I just blend that out. I used to do my full face in foundation just for more coverage, but lately I really love just natural coverage, not too much. I love the way my skin looks and I just feel like less is better, but I still love full foundation. I always will. Obviously I do makeup, so when it comes to certain occasions, of course I'll put on my full face of makeup, but this is just really simple and quick for every day. So now that all of that is blended, I'm going to go in with the color that is the same as my skin, and this is the natural beige once again. And I'll just put a little bit on the back of my hand, just that, like very little. And I'm going to take my MAC 242 SE brush. It's just a flat brush. I love this for concealing my brows, putting on foundation. It's literally good for anything. And I'm just going to put these on the spots of my skin that I want to be covered a little bit. My skin is very nice right now, so there's not really a lot of spots that I want to cover. And then the same thing, blending that in. And then I'll go in with the rest that I have on here on a foundation brush, a flat top brush, but you can use any foundation brush, any brush you want. As long as it packs on the foundation, you're good. And so instead of putting foundation on all parts of my face, I just take the little bit that's left over and I just pack it all over so everything looks even, but there's not too much foundation on my face. So next I go in with my concealer. My favorite concealer literally ever. This is probably the only concealer I use on the daily. This is the Tarte Shape Tape and this one is in shade medium. I also have the shade light neutral because this one's a little lighter, as you can tell, and I like a little bit lighter sometimes just to brighten, but not all the time. So I just apply a little line. And then I go in with the darker shade and I apply it over that line. So it's like a blend of two colors. But most of the time I'll only use shade medium just because I really like the way the darker one looks because I don't like flashback. That's like my biggest fear. Then I'll spray the beauty blender again with the Tatcha setting spray and blend that in. And you want to blend this super quick if you're using the Tarte Shape Tape because this is a very dry concealer, but it's also really good because if you have oily skin, it's less likely to break. A lot of concealers and foundations break and it looks really bad. So you just want to make sure you're blending it quickly. So if you have dry skin, of course you can skip this step. I take my banana powder. This is by Makeup Revolution. I can't remember what shade this is because it came off. I've had this for so long, but it is one of my favorites and I use it every day and it's still full. And then I use the translucent powder by Laura Mercier. So I just put a little bit. I've had this for the longest time too, so if you only use a little bit, it'll last you really long. And then I take a little beauty blender like this. So first I'm gonna dip into the Laura Mercier powder with my little beauty blender, and I'm just gonna stamp it. Makes you look like you're more awake. This is the only part of my makeup routine that I really pack things on. Throughout the day, it can show through and it can look messy, and so I like to make sure that everything is packed on. Powder does tend to make people cakey and tends to set into wrinkles or fine lines that you have in your skin, but if you do it the right way, it won't look as cakey, and I know a lot of people say that and it still looks really bad close up. But if you use a damp beauty blender, if you blend and you really pack it on, it's not gonna sit on top of your skin. It's gonna blend in with your concealer. But in order to get that look, you need to set your concealer right away, because if you wait, it's gonna dry and it's gonna look even drier, and that's what people complain about the most with Tarte Shape Tape concealer, is that it's a very dry concealer and that their skin is already dry and that it looks really bad. But if you do it right, I promise you, you will not get those problems. So then I dip into my yellow powder, and the reason I do this is because the concealer that I use, it'll cancel out the discoloration that you have because it is a yellow toned powder. And so when you put this on top, it helps brighten your under eyes even more. So this just makes everything look brighter and prettier and like you've slept. So while that's setting, I don't really do my brows like I used to. I used to fully fill them in. I'm sorry, it looks like it's snowing in the background. It's because there's powder everywhere. I used to fill my brows in completely, but my brows are pretty full and I don't like the way they look filled in on a day-to-day basis. So typically I'll use the Ebony Pomade by Anastasia, but if I don't want to fill them in and I'm just running to do some errands or going to work or something, I'll just lightly fill them in. So just areas that I feel need to be more filled in and more full. Most of the time I don't even fill them in. I just leave them the way that they are now. And I don't like when my eyebrows look super dark. I like them either fully filled in or just not filled in at all. So that's typically how I do them. So they're super natural. I really need to get a brow gel because I don't really like filling them in. I really just want them to be tamed at least, so they're not going all over the place. And then after that, I'll just go in with the foundation that I use. So for this, I'm just going to use the Hourglass one because it is lighter and I like when it looks lighter under my brows. So I just lightly outline them so they look like that, and then I just go into my finger and blend it in really lightly, really softly. I don't like to be too aggressive with my eyes just because I don't want to get wrinkles or pull my skin or anything, so I'm just really gentle with my eyes. And then same thing with the other brow. And that's how my brows look. I don't like going on top because I feel like it looks boxy or that it looks like I obviously did my brows. And now it's time to blend the bake away. I'm just gonna take my Wet n Wild powder brush. This is actually from the Pacman collection, and Wilson's mom got me this. It's literally the cutest brush ever. It has like a little Pacman in it. And I just gently wipe this away. The nice thing about this brush is that it's so soft. A lot of powder brushes tend to be rough under the eye, and when wiping away your powder, you don't want it to wipe away too much, because with powder, when you swipe, it tends to wipe away most of your product. So when doing this, you can gently pat it in or just softly brush it away. And once I wipe away all my powder, I just go around my face with the clean powder brush. Always wash your brushes because you can get acne and you can just make your face feel nasty. So you always want to keep your brushes clean. And then I go into my bronzer. This is my favorite step. I love bronzing my skin. So one of my favorite bronzers is the Tarte Park Avenue Princess one. This one is so beautiful. I've literally hit pan. I don't know if you can tell. And I never do that with any products. And then I just take an angled brush. And so I just take a little bit very lightly. I don't like too much bronzer because it does start to look dirty and muddy. And then of course my forehead, I love bronzing just because it makes you look like you've been in the sun and makes you look really nice. So I don't dip back into the bronzer. I just continue to use the same amount that I had all over. And I already have a really tiny nose, so I don't like contouring my nose because it's already really skinny. And then I just go back in with the powder brush, and without any powder on it, I just blend that all in. I love this blush brush. It's so cute and it's pink. Well, rose gold, so it matches. And then I go in with this blush. It is by Makeup Forever, and there's not a blush name, it just says S214. So if you're interested, you can probably find it on the website. And I just pat this on really lightly. I don't like too much blush either, but I really do love blush, just not too much. I really don't like using mascara. I wear contacts, so when I use mascara, it kind of just messes with my eyes and I don't really like it. Also, my lashes are long and mascara does not help them whatsoever, so I usually just wear fake lashes. But recently I haven't been wearing them as much. So I just take my eyelash curler and lightly curl my lashes. Got these on Amazon and they look like this. I love how full they are. I really love dramatic lashes. And then I just take my Star Glue. I got this at a beauty supply in Houston. I'm pretty sure they have them at every beauty supply. And it is so good. My lashes never come off. They stick all day. And it doesn't leave any marks on my eyes. It doesn't look nasty. I don't like using white or clear eyelash glue just because it leaves white on your eyes. When I use it on my eyes, it just looks dirty. I'm pretty sure other people can pull it off, but I can't. So, and then I let it dry for a couple seconds. And then I just put it on. And after you put your lash on, you just want to push it against your real lash band so that it looks like one full lash. I love how these look. These are my favorite lashes at the moment. They're just so full and pretty. So now that my lashes are on, the last step is just my lips. So this is the Baby Lips chapstick. I usually just go in with chapstick before I do anything, just so my lips don't look nasty. And then I go in with this e.l.f. lip liner. It doesn't have the color on it, but it's just a brown lip liner, and it has a little sharpener on it, which is really nice. And then I just outline my lips, and I usually just outline the natural shape of my lips. I don't like to overdraw them. I'm taking this Real Her Sorry Not Sorry lipstick, and this is in the shade Rose Pink. It's a really cute tiny lipstick, but I love the color. And then after that, I love gloss, so I always use a gloss. This is by Soap and Glory, and it is shade Spun Sugar. So I just put this on top, and usually with this, I always take something to take off the lipstick a little bit, just because I don't like when it's too bright. And that's my makeup routine. Super easy. You don't have to use super high-end foundations to get this look. I've used a ton of drugstore foundations that work just fine, sometimes even better than high-end products. And whatever works for you works for you. You can achieve this look with whatever products that you use. If you are interested in any of these products, they will all be linked down below, so if you want to get them. I'm not sure if I still have my receipt on Amazon for the lashes, but if I do, they will be in there. And I really hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe and turn on post notifications.